Hi everybody, it is me, Ashley, and today I am back with a kind of like a tutorial but not project share type situation. So I have been making these bright, colorful, puffy flowers, which you have seen. Sorry, I gotta move my table. In a couple of my tag videos, and I am not the person to take credit for other person's doing, so this was not my idea. I learned this from somebody in one of my craft groups. Her name is Mary, very talented woman. If you're watching this, hi Mary. So she posted these beautiful paper flowers in our group, and I was like, oh my gosh, how do you make those? I need to learn how to make those. And when she said how easy they were, you just fall in love with them. And I'm telling you right now, they're pretty easy. So at first, for me, they weren't that easy. Hers came out so much better than mine. And I was just so confused, and I think I figured out why hers were better. And we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So the very first ones I made were these out of cardstock and scrapbook paper. Now I couldn't figure out why mine didn't look so full and voluptuous, because I did what she told me to do. And then I realized, well, duh, Ashley, she's using thinner paper like wrapping paper and stuff like that, and I'm using kind of like a sturdy, if you can hear, cardstock. Don't get me wrong, these are still very pretty and they were still pretty easy to make, but I wanted mine to be full and fluffy like hers. So I'm like, I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. I don't have no wrapping paper around because I used the rest of it up from Christmas time, and I'm new to paper crafting, so the only thing I really have is, you know, cardstock. So then I got to thinking, well, a lovely lady on here named Joyce, who is one of my really good friends, challenged me to make something out of coffee filters. And so here they are. All of these over here were made out of coffee filters. And I loved how they turned out. Absolutely adore how they turned out. So I'm going to show you what you need. You are going to need brads, which I have a bunch of little ones that I use for this over here. You're going to need brads. You are going to need coffee filters, which I am not a coffee drinker, so these were last on my shopping list and I always kept forgetting them. You are going to need a hole puncher, one of the very small ones, not the larger ones, because you want to be able to make a hole small enough just for your tiny brads to go through the middle. And you are going to need a 1.5 inch to 2.5 scallop circle bunch, which I went out and bought especially for these. Same with this right here. So you will also need inks, which I'll show you my inks here in a little bit. I'm telling you right now, I don't have very many. I only have a few, and then I have a few bigger ink pads that were gifted to me by a friend. And yeah, so what you do is you take your coffee filters, and I stacked 4 to 5 of them together, and then I went around the edges. I didn't do the middle part, I just went around the edges here and punched out, let's see here, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of these. So all together with one, let's see, if you do 4 layers times 8, which is what, 32, I think? Yeah, 32. But I didn't separate them, because when you punch them out, they kind of clump together. So 2 of those 4, so I put 8 together. And then I punched a hole in the middle. Here, I'll just do this. Let me just grab a few. So, here's my thing. Here's my punch. So I'm just going to punch them out real fast. So here's one bunch. Set to the side. And here is 2 bunch. So I took these 2 and I stacked them together like so. And I didn't make them completely even because what flower is completely symmetrical. And then I took my punch. Sorry, I gotta see what size it is. And I put my flowers through like so. And I punched out the middle. So you have my tiny hole. Then I took a small brad and I put it through the middle and secured it. Now, this is the fun part. We're going to go ahead and put these flowers away. And when you're using your inks to do this, I suggest you wear gloves because I dyed my fingers and it lasted about a week. And I have children, so I'm constantly washing my hands and I'm constantly doing dishes and constantly giving baths because kids are gross, you know, that kind of thing. So, I suggest you wear gloves for this if you really care about your hands, or, you know, you're in a professional job. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so no one sees my hands but me, my kids, and my husband. So, no worries here for that. So I'm going to go ahead and move all that off. And here is my inks. Now, like I said, I don't have very many. I keep them in these tiny things. So here's my my greens, my white, my black, a yellow, you know, that kind of thing in that one. And then I have my pinks, my reds, and my purple in this one. Now, I have several of certain colors because I did order these off AliExpress. I think you got 12 for $12. I don't know. And they just send random colors. So, I ordered 2 orders of them and I got several of the same color. And some of them, I also used the silver, the black, and the gold over here, which I also ordered from AliExpress. And then I have these ink pads right here, which is the yellow, the purple, and the blue of these, where it goes from like light to dark. I have this yellow used ink pad that was sent to me. I have this ombre ink pad that was sent to me, and it's in a bluish color. Or purple. I don't remember. And then I do have the gray Stampin' Up pad and the black with also the re-inkers, which were sent to me from. So like I said, I don't have very many stamps, and they're not high quality stamps, but you know, they work for me for now. I really, really, really wish that I had the Tim Holtz distressed inks, but unfortunately those are just out of my price range for inks at the time. So we're going to go ahead and go with one of, let's do a purple one. And how I did the multicolored ones is I did the blue, the yellow, and pink of the square blocks on there, and I just kind of stamped it around. So let's see here, let's do the violet one. I don't think I used this one on any of them. You're going to want a scrap piece of paper down on the table, or you're going to want to wear gloves for your hands. So what I did is I just took it and I kind of just wiped it all over my flower, like so. in each layer, and I made sure that I did the edges, and I was messy with it, and I crumpled the paper because you're just going to crumple the paper up anyways. So yeah, and you're going to want to go in between the layers. So like the first layer you pull up and you mush together. It's pretty much the whole technique of this. You pull and mush, that's what I call it. And I go around and I ink this layer a little bit. You could probably dye your coffee pads, your coffee filters, and then ahead of time, and then sometimes I even skipped a couple, so like there's 2 in between, and I crumple them up just to give it like a watercolor look. So, and I just go in and I ink it, and like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because the flower is going to be crumpled, and depending on how wet your inks are, it will maybe sink through a couple layers. I know that in the one ink pads, the square ones that I have, those ones are pretty wet, so when I used it, it leaked through a few layers at a time. So yeah, and then you crumple up a couple layers and you ink, and I always make sure that I ink the last layer and the back of it as well. So yeah, and then you just crumple it up, and then I usually pinch my brads so they really fold in a little bit, so it helps support the shape of your flower. And then after you crumple it up, you just kind of fleur it out a little bit, and there you go. There is one of those flowers. And I want to give a big shout out thank you to Mary for teaching us this in the group. I love them. And Joyce, you challenged me to make something with coffee filters, so here it is. This is what I made out of the coffee filters. If you like these, please let me know. Send me an email. My email address will be in the description box below, and I will send you a couple. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. We are getting closer and closer to that 100 subscriber giveaway, and until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.